Hello, good evening, everyone. Uncle Robin is back again, and I hope everyone is doing well and safe. Makan dinner already or not? Now already what, 9 p.m. So if you all makan already, I can just type and just say makan already lah. Got not? Oh makan. Oh makan. Okay. Good, good. So if you already makan, make yourself comfortable. Sit back, relax, because this evening Uncle Robin once again will talk about money lah. In today's financial freedom series episode, we have a very interesting topic that could potentially provide you with passive income, or even you see the title, even becoming a millionaire. Oh, millionaire. Really? Uncle Robin will find out tonight lah. Becoming millionaire is exciting. But what's more exciting is tonight we are joined by a very, very special guest. She is young, smart, beautiful, and most importantly, very successful in what she does. Let's welcome, first time on the show, Erin. Oh, yes. Yes, we can now. Hi, Erin. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Good, thank you. Good morning, everybody.
It's evening, unless you are in the...
Good morning. It's always a morning whenever we have our Zoom on.
So, makan already?
I was halfway, sorry. You got...
You see, we are so Malaysian. We always greet people by asking, sudah makan? Makan already. It's always about food. It's a very, very Malaysian way.
Makan nombor satu.
Yes, makan nombor satu. So, Erin, I heard, this is your first time on Astro AWANI. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. My first time.
Awesome lah. Thank you for making time and coming on to our show lah.
Thank you so much tonight, for having me. I'm very, very honored.
We are very, very honored as well. Hi. Okay lah, good lah for you. You know, a young, beautiful lady like you entertain an old man like me like 9 p.m. Wow, Uncle Robin feel very, very grateful, I tell you.
You uncle because your siblings kahwin awal, got baby awal. Don't look like an uncle. How many people thinks he looks like an uncle? Not at all. I'm pretty sure you can see the group chat nanti.
Okay, so tonight, we will be touching on mutual funds lah. But you see, Uncle actually hear a lot lah. A lot of times about mutual fund and investing in mutual fund is super good lah and all. But what is a mutual fund? And is it like investing in stocks and other investment? But before we even touch on that lah, Erin, please introduce yourself. As in what you do, your story to success, or maybe even some of your turning points is like key points perkara penting that happened in your life that made you successful and what you are today.
Okay.
Maybe you can share.
Sure. Thank you very much. First and foremost, I would like to say thank you to Astro AWANI. I would like to say thank you to Amy for inviting me, Melissa, as well as Uncle Robin himself, the producers, for initiating such a wonderful session, especially when it comes to money and financial matters. It's something that is superbly important, but sensitive enough for people to not talk about it all the time. And I feel like this is a session that needs to be glamorized more, that needs to be exposed more, because it shapes the mentality and mindset of our people. And I feel like we're a little bit behind compared to a lot of other countries. Considering we are a developing country with a lot of exposure, a lot of potentials, we need to be more forward with our money management and our financial management. So a little background about myself. My name is Erin Adlina Adnan, and I have been in the investment industry for the past 11 years with this company that's color is red and white. Go figure. I love my job. I love my company. I've been in this business since when I was studying back then. I was completing my degree in business management economics, and I was doing it while I was studying as well. And I learned a lot of things along the way. I learned and I've met tremendous, remarkable people I never thought I would ever had the chance to shake hands with. And for the past 11 years, I have my own agency. It's called Excellent Accomplishments Achievers. So if you can see at my background right here, we're already 10 years in the business. My age in the business is 11 years. The age of my agency is 10 years. And I've got my people inside as well. I think you can see all their names in the chat. You Amani, send to everyone, bukan host and panelists, because only host and panelists boleh nampak. So, kena buat iklan, sorry sikit. There's 135 of us in Achievers. We're all Gen Ys. I don't discriminate age, race, or background. I accept anyone and everyone. I group anyone and everyone just as long as they want to be successful, and which commemorates exactly with our topic tonight. And on top of that, I've had 25 awards for the past 11 years. And I broke a record in 2018. Was it 2017? 2018. I broke a Malaysian record in 2018. So yeah, that's a little bit about myself. I hope that wasn't too long.
No, Uncle Robin is very astonished when you say you started back when you were studying. So if Uncle were to look back at Uncle's life, when Uncle was still studying, maybe in college, wow, where got think about investment? We just think, oi, class finished, maybe go watch a movie, maybe go cyber cafe or something like that lah. So Uncle is very curious, and also I think the audience is very curious. What was your mindset? What was your mentality at that point in time when you felt that investing at a very young age was so crucial and it was key to your success today?
Well, back then, of course, I'm not super smart. Yeah, macam I was born suddenly, oh, I know what I want to do. No, it's definitely just a little bit about what or how I was before. I've never had any intention to be doing investment or even doing sales. And by right, yes, we are doing sales. This business that we're currently doing, it is sales. And I've never heard anyone wish they become a salesperson ever. In school, I wanted to be a pediatrician. I wanted to be a broadcast journalist, majoring in economics and money management and finance. So I did not get to live my dream, but I got something better along the way. And the reason why I'm exposed to this is because my mother is also in the business. She was an architect before. And how was she exposed in this was she became an investor. And that's exactly how I started as well. When I was 18, I started investing, forced by my mother. You know why? Because back then in school, I remember when we were in primary school, when we were in high school, the only way for us to save money was just menabung, betul tak? Was just to put money. I had like a small tabung by Bumi Putra Commerce, and every single time I put coins in it, it will count, like bukan count lah, it will like congratulate me for investing. Oh, sorry, for saving money, for menabung. Tapi at the end of the day, kita bawa coins to the banks, and after that kita bank into our bank account, and that's about it. So my mom forced me to start investing, and I started loving it because I felt like, okay, this is not like how banks work. What is it? And I had a lot of Chinese and Indian friends in high school, and after school, whenever we hang out, when they started asking me, and I asked them, and I realized that they are way ahead of me, whereby their parents have left them with like 50,000. By the time they turn 18, they already can pay their MyV. They already can, they've got enough and sufficient money to proceed with their college life without having to rely on their parents anymore. And it's all because their parents are aware of investing for the kids, not investing for them, but for the kids as well. And that's when I speak to my Malay friends, I realize Malays tak tahu. we only know nak pergi KLCC, tengok wayang, beli popcorn, naik LRT, lepak. I mean, this is the reality of what it is with our people. So I learned something, like, it's a big eye opener, and that's exactly why I felt like there's a need for more people, for our nation to be very together and embracing the advancement of investing and savings. Hence why I'm
Awesome.
here.
Awesome. That is what this series is all about. It's about educating people to make the right choice and go and invest, and not maybe okay lah, if you got a bit of money you want to buy a new car, but okay, but the importance here is to invest. And like what Erin said, her success was actually due to she started very young. But I would like to tell all of you guys, it is never too late to start investing. The most important thing is you must invest, but of course you must also invest with care and properly. That is why you are here on this show with Uncle Robin and Erin. So today we're just going to talk about one type of investment, which is actually mutual fund. So mutual fund is actually one of the investment option you can choose lah. You know, Uncle Robin always hear mutual fund from everyone one. You know, uncle, auntie friends are all also talking about it. Wow, like very popular lah. Even the older people also talk about mutual fund and no mutual fund. So Erin, could you just provide some basic information to start off? What is actually mutual fund? How does it work? You know, uncle got little bit understanding lah about mutual fund. Mutual fund is like an investment or a product, but inside got a lot of things one. Is that correct? Or
Yeah.
maybe uncle is wrong.
Okay.
Erin, go ahead.
Just imagine you are at a supermarket. Just imagine you are at a supermarket. No lah, not supermarket. Just imagine we are at a restaurant, okay? Imagine a Japanese restaurant. You know how Japanese delicacies ada banyak. There's teppanyaki, there's sushi, there's sashimi, omakase, there's sukiyaki, there's all sorts of types of dishes, right? Instead of just sushi je, because most people kalau dengar Japanese, it's always sushi. Oh, by the way, is it okay if I will to campur English and Malay? It's fine, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
We're on Malaysia,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So imagine you're at a Japanese restaurant, and instead of them just serving you sushi and sashimi, they also serve sukiyaki, they serve Japanese barbecue, they serve omakase. That's exactly what it is. Understanding mutual funds. So mutual funds is you investing in a fund that's exposed in various different counters. So imagine there's a fund that's heavily, the name of the fund is IT and technology. So most of the time, the fund is exposed in IT and technology. On top of that, they also invest in safer investment mechanism like consumer or electricity, water, the things that we use on a daily basis, consumer products, just to balance out the portfolio. So should anything happens to IT and technology, I give you an example. That day when metaverse, before it turned into metaverse, when there was an Instagram breakdown, everyone was upset and angry. People cannot reply to their boyfriend, girlfriend at night, their WhatsApp crash and stuff like that, right? So when that happened, what happened to Mark Zuckerberg's net worth? What happened to Facebook's stock that time? It dropped, right? Imagine you're investing directly. Imagine you're investing directly into that counter and going through like a rapid drop within a night, within a couple of hours. So instead of going through that, if you are investing in mutual funds, there are other counters that are supporting the losses of that counter. So it's not as fast or aggressive as investing directly into stocks or a particular counter, but it's definitely safer. You can sleep at night, and it's mid to long term. So when it comes to investing, you can invest in stocks. Doesn't mean you cannot invest in stocks, but you gotta have a balance of every single thing.
So if Uncle is understanding this correctly, so a unit trust inside consists of many counters, or in layman terms, many different stocks that belong to different companies or different industry.
Hmm.
So in a way, it is more diversified, meaning you punya risk is lower compared to buying an individual stock. Because if you buy an individual stock, anything happen, dia punya harga turun, anything, you are confirm rugi because you only buy that one stock. Not only confirm rugi, takut nanti ada heart attack or whatever. So,
Uh-uh.
yes.
But kalau
But if
naik, you naik lah
yes,
juga.
takut also mau kena heart attack kalau naik terlalu banyak. So to have a very balanced so-called portfolio, mutual fund gives that opportunity because kalau satu turun, yang lain mungkin naik. So it will balance back. Is that correct?
Correct, Uncle Robin. 100 markah, Uncle
Wow,
Robin.
not bad. Wow, yes. So now we understand the basics of mutual fund now. Because I'm pretty sure in the audience, there are some people who actually invest in stocks. We have already talked about that. There are some who actually get involved maybe in real estate, okay, and some maybe now crypto is the big thing, in the trading industry and all that. So, on a very general level, how does mutual fund gives in a way that can be a little bit more attractive compared to real estate investment or maybe even crypto, okay? Because from my understanding, mutual fund, you have two sources of income, or should I say one source of income and another source of income might come in a later date. One, with mutual fund, you boleh dapat dividend, which gives you maybe 3 months, every 3 months macam tu, correct me if I'm wrong. Then another return is kalau harga of that fund naik, kalau masa you jual, you dapat the profit. So would this be, be a very enticing or attractive proposition compared to, like, for example, real estate, maybe even crypto? What are your thoughts?
Okay, I have been in the financial industry for 11 years, so I'm one to embrace everything that comes as long as it makes money, as long as we profit more than inflation, right? So in my opinion, the one thing that makes investing in unit trusts or mutual funds more attractive than property is just because it's liquid. So when you buy property, of course, you own a house. You can flip it and make money from it. You can also rent it out and make money from it. So it becomes like a business for you. When it comes to investment, using it's liquid, that's one thing. It's if you use cash, it's cash lah. And when you make profits, also you get it back in liquid. So it's very different. I would say both are good investment good ways to invest, but what matters more is how do you want to see it? You want to see it as a business, invest in property or real estate. If you want something that's more personal, you don't have to sell it, you don't have to look for buyers or tenants, then you go for investment. I would say it's a more personal type of investing, and wise investors have a bit of both. There's never one thing that's much better. It's just a matter of whether you are comfortable with it or not. Like in my case, I have tried trading, I have tried futures, and I cannot sleep at night. So I invest in things that I'm comfortable with, and I make sure I do my homework in understanding it, how it works, because there's no one investment that's much better than another. It's always based on the person's objective.
Yep. So just to explain a little bit on what Erin mentioned, that in investing in mutual funds, your investments is actually more liquid. More liquid maksudnya, let's say for example, if you buy a property and let's say you want to flip or you want to sell, it may not be as fast because you kena cari buyer lagi, you kena agree benda ni lagi, you kena buat kontrak jual beli lagi, semua benda tu. It might take some time. So if you are an investor, suddenly you need money one. And your investment is in property and you have to sell it, so it might take some time. Whereas mutual fund gives you a more liquid investment. Maksudnya you can get your cash, you can sell and get your cash faster. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yes.
Correct. So I saw a question by Ivan. It's actually not a question lah. He was making a statement. So he said that mutual funds are for novice investors who don't know how to invest. Yes, correct. That's exactly why you have consultants. And like I mentioned just now, stock investment is something for you if you are comfortable doing it. And I wouldn't say only for sophisticated investors, because I've got investors who are royalties. I've got investors who are menteri, ministers. They do invest in stocks and they also invest in unit trusts because they are leveraging on whatever that's best. Whichever that makes money for me, I might as well put money in it. You know, it's diversifying your eggs into different baskets. And on top of that, you get to choose instead of putting in only in one stock. So I believe Ivan is very, very good in stocks. That's exactly why he made that statement.
All right, let's talk about the so-called average returns, you know, of mutual funds, for example, because I am just going to quote a little bit here. So, for example, so if you put your money in a savings account, you earn less than 1% in interest, which is super low. I think 0.0 something percent. While you put in a fixed deposit account, a year probably it can give you around 2%. Now the interest rate is so low. But let's say if we go on a more conservative fund, a more conservative mutual fund, probably at the lower risk. I mean,
lowest.
Yeah, probably the lowest risk. Could you probably just quote a rough estimate number on the return per year?
Our lowest risk would be our bonds and also money market. And our bonds, our best performing bonds, give around 5% per year consistently.
Wow.
Yes.
Go ahead. Yes.
And our money market also, we've got a cash money market fund that acts almost similar to how fixed deposits are, and it gives out dividends on a monthly basis, but of course it is small. So just like fixed deposit, why do companies put their money into fixed deposit? Is because they get to utilize facilities from the banks. It's more than just the profits. It's okay, if we were to get profits, if we were to get interest, do we pay tax on top of it? Do we get facilities at the bank? So it depends on the objectives of the investors. Like myself, I don't put money into fixed deposits because I choose to spread out my risk into things that are more or slightly more aggressive. So I have everything, my portfolios are more balanced. When I have 10, 20, 80 juta, then I'll put some in fixed deposit.
Yep. So before we move on, we have actually got a question from John. John Lim. So I think we would want to address this question first before we actually move forward. Yeah. Melabur dalam mutual fund ini pasti dapat untung ke?
Melabur dalam mutual.
Ya. Ini pasti dapat untung. Is it a confirmed investment where you will get a profit?
Okay, in Melabur, okay, nice. In Sharia term, we cannot guarantee anything. When it's guaranteed, it becomes non-Sharia, it becomes non-Islamic. So usually, our investors, yes, they make profits because we make sure that they set a target. So most of the time, what we do with our investors is when we present, we make sure that they are aware of their goals, because whenever we present, if there's no direction, the client wouldn't invest happily. The client wouldn't invest a specific amount that works for him. They would just macam, alah, try lah. Bila dia try, dia letak sikit je. Bila dia faham objective dia, bila dia faham the reason why there's a need to invest, that's when we get them to invest an amount that is sustainable, an amount that they can pay attention to and they look forward to investing. So in our case, yes, we make sure that our presentation probably take a while, but we make sure that the clients know their objectives and we put a target so they don't escape and get out so easily. So yes, of course, ada untung, but you gotta make sure that it is you don't take out before it has made profits. So when it comes to clients who invest tapi tak buat profits, there are some I've had clients who invested and hasn't made profits. Most of the time, masa dulu-dulu when I was younger, I approached a lot of young investors, and my mistake back then was not putting an objective. So they try je. When they want to take out money, they take out like it's taking out money from ATM. So that was how I learned that investing comes with objectives, and the reason why they need to know their objectives and goal is so that they stick to it and they commit to it, just like all of us commit to loans. The reason why we commit to loans is because benda tu pinjaman. Now, why can't we commit to an investment program? Why can't we commit to a savings plan? Doesn't matter whether it's glamour or it's not glamour, whether it's easy or it's for novice, it's still an investment plan. If you cannot commit, that's when you do not make money. When you do not commit to your consultant, that's when you lose money because you probably don't get the best advice. Or if you commit to a wrong consultant, you can always have the option to go to the company, choose a different consultant. There's always a way. There's no such thing as it not working. We've got 130 plus funds available. You get to choose whatever you want. So there's no such thing as putting in mutual fund and not being able to make money. So John, I hope that answers your question.
Yeah. So I would also, yeah. So I would also like to comment, like what Erin mentioned, the lowest fund with the safest, I mean, in terms of risk, it gives you a return of 5%, which is, I would think that it's actually good enough to even hedge for inflation, because inflation Malaysia is about 3 to 4% a year. So even putting money at the lowest fund with the least risk and gives you probably an average of 5% return a year, which does not include the dividend income and all that, it's still a very, very good investment, I would say, from my perspective. Now, like John has mentioned that, you know, if I invest in mutual fund, would it be a confirmed case where I will confirm make money one? So like Erin, you have also mentioned that yes, in the long term it will be. But let's try and dig deep into this. I mean, mutual fund is also a form of investment, right?
Yeah.
So there would be some risk involved, right? Could you just tell us a little bit of that risk, of those risks?
Market risk, we've had a fund back then that was doing very, very well, and the exposure was in oil and gas. And my client made 56% in 6 months. I remember that was one of my favorite funds. And most of my clients, especially my female clients, they made so much, 56% in 6 months. And I feel like that was amazing. It was a local fund, local exposure. And it was doing so well. We managed to take out and save their profits. And what happened was during the oil and gas crisis, the fund went down. It didn't perform for a very, very long time. So that was also a risk. Market is also a risk, especially when the fund is highly exposed into one type of counter or one type of market exposure. Just the same as rubber. So one of our funds, a lot of our funds made so much during the pandemic because there was exposure in Kosan Rubber, in Supermax, Top Glove, and they made so much during the pandemic, but right now it's a bit difficult for it to recover because there's a lot of profit taking that was made. So more money came in and a lot more money went out afterwards, because bila client dah buat duit, they want to do profit taking. Most of the clients are like that, especially during pandemic time. Whatever that makes money for them and can utilize, they take out. So it depends on the counters as well. So that will be one of the risks, the market risk. On top of that will be on your consultant. So if you have someone that you are investing in and eventually suddenly dia hilang or you cannot reach them, that's also a risk. So do your part
It's
as a client
yeah.
as well. Contact them if they don't contact you. Sometimes probably they're busy. I know, for instance, there are sometimes that I kadang-kadang terlupa some clients because when they are quiet, they are very, very quiet. So yeah, that is also a risk. But when it comes to stability of our companies, most of the banks that provide mutual fund, what do you call that? Mutual fund services, they are able to sustain as of now
Yeah.
lah. Mm.
Yeah. So in the way, I would say that mutual fund, I mean, if it's provided by professional consultants, professional financial advisors, and people that has the experience in managing this, so your risk is very very much mitigated in a way. But at the
Mm-mm-mm.
same time, there are like you mentioned, there are about 130 over funds they can choose from the company or from the bank that you're attached with. So
Yep.
in a way that you can actually choose, I mean, what is your risk appetite? Do you want to go for a lower risk with a more steady return, or you want to go or for a higher risk, probably with a higher return? So
Mm-mm-mm.
there is a flexibility there. Is that correct, Erin?
Correct, correct. Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
So
There's no penalty for early redemption. There's no locking period. You don't have to pay tax for whatever that you take out. It's all net profit.
okay, so okay lah. So in your personal opinion, right?
Mm-mm.
What are some of the industries or type of unit trust portfolio that has actually good potential, let's say in the next 5 years. Probably we just look at capital gains and not look at dividends and all that. So dividend is very individual and all that.
Mm-mm.
So is there anything or any industry or portfolio that maybe in your opinion might do well in the next 5 years? But okay, guys, this is not financial advice. We are just voicing our own opinion. Erin is just voicing her own opinion. So
Uh-uh.
before investing in anything, please make sure you know what you're investing. Okay, don't buta buta, just go in, put your money, and then don't know what happened, and then it's not good lah. Okay, go on,
Mm-mm.
Erin.
Um, right now, when it comes to capital gain, I would say, Uncle Robin, what were one of the things that we use a lot during pandemic?
Wow. For me, Uncle use a lot of the TV lah, some digital gadgets and all that lah.
Digital
Ah.
gadgets, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely IT, technology,
Mm-hmm.
semiconductor. So
Yeah.
those are the markets and the counters that I would say will do exceptionally well for the next 2 to 3 years. That tak payah reach 5 years, 2 to 3 years is going to
Mm-hmm.
be doing very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
Other than that would be the usual consumer: water, electricity, banks, and but those are the ones that are more stable, gives out dividends. They have capital gain, definitely go IT, technology,
Mm-hmm.
semiconductor. Malaysia is one of the biggest semiconductor importer all over the world. So we have made a lot of profits from semiconductor industries as well. Taiwan also one of it. So that's also one counter that we can pay attention to.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So it seems like, you know, mutual fund is very, very attractive in its own way. Lah. Let's
Mm-mm.
say, for example, anyone from the audience or maybe even Uncle Robin, suddenly, okay, I want to invest. Okay. One, the return is pretty good. The risk is manageable.
Mm.
And you can choose whatever portfolio to your liking. So if suddenly Uncle Robin said, Uncle want to invest in mutual fund now, what to do? How to start? What is the minimum amount? Is there any fee or what is the fee
Mm.
structure like? And is the income or dividend taxable in a way? And the multi-million dollar question. Investing in mutual fund can become Jutawan.
Okay, investing the cheapest, the most, why mutual fund is sort of known is because it's very affordable. It's for the masses. It's for the masses. I'm gonna say this again. It's for the masses. When I first started investing, it was also at a very cheap, very affordable amount. You can start off at $1,000 only, and every month you can do it using standing instruction of 100 ringgit only. But of course, in order for you to make money faster, it's best to put in a bigger capital lah. Definitely, that's a no-brainer. So when I first started investing back then, I put in $400 every month, and I started upgrading and opening up more funds. That's exactly how the money grows and grows and grows. When you have a lot more portfolios and you invest many times into a lot of funds, that's when your money boleh potentially jadi jutawan. Tapi kalau nak jadi jutawan lebih cepat is when you become a consultant and also invest. I say this because I'm living it, I see it, and I'm probably living proof of that happening. So kalau nak jadi jutawan sekarang, memang you gotta do both. But kalau you nak jadi jutawan in the future, you can do so through investing sikit.
Now, so you have spoken about investing sikit. Now, we have a question from the audience, okay? This is from Liana, okay? She said, noob question, okay? Is it better to invest one huge amount at one go, or monthly, have a fixed amount you invest in?
Okay. Both are similar, but it depends on what you have. For example, I give you an example. Let's say I have 200,000. I want to put in lump sum. I put in 200,000 one time. Whatever returns that I make in the next 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years will be based on 200,000. But if you do not have 200,000 to invest, but you want to go towards 200,000, you identify how much you can put in right now. And then let's say you can put in 500 ringgit. So you calculate how many times do I have to invest for 500 ringgit every month until it reaches 200,000. So it takes a lot longer time, but you get to invest and reach towards 200,000 just as long as you commit to the monthly investment. Sikit. It's just the same as you doing, I cannot mention the name of the company, loan, but dengan 200,000, dia suruh you put in sikit-sikit. Sama. If you don't want to pinjam duit and invest, you can invest here and do the same thing, but you invest lah sikit. But of course, in the next 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, the profits will not be against 200,000. It will be against the amount of capital that you have been investing from day one.
Yep. So let's talk about, investors are engaging professionals, consultants to actually manage this mutual fund. So what are the fees like? Is there a range of fees, that the investors should know?
Fees, yes. So we are all regulated under Securities Commission. So of course we have there are fees for our investors to bear. Because our fund managers don't work for free. We don't work for free. We also have to pay MAPs that handles the monthly investment as well, the facility. And across the board, it's around 5%. And for e-funds, where you can do it online with your consultant, is 3% and above. So it depends on the fund that you are choosing. But when you get your profits, it will be net. It will be against the amount you invest, not against the amount you invest minus the service charge. So if you put in 100,000, your capital towards the end of the time when you have made profits is again 100,000, not against 100,000 minus the service charge.
Okay, that is very clear cut, because there is some misunderstanding where the service charge percentage is charged based on the amount that you actually deposit in. So that is actually clear in a way. So
a lot of people always macam tak nak lah invest about the service charge. I mean, you can pay for your apps, you can pay for service providers of the telecommunication companies and stuff like that. So no one works for free, and I hope everyone understands that our fund managers do very, very well, and they are very highly qualified. So that's exactly why there are service charge. But one thing people must also understand is that your profits will always be net against the amount you invest in. So it shouldn't be a stopper to why you don't try.
It only makes sense because if you don't have all these professional, if let's say Uncle Robin go and invest in a stock himself, Uncle not really professional can rugi besar one eh. So I think I would rather give a small percentage in terms of fees to actually get a better percentage of profiting. Now we talk about profit so let's just clear this. Are all profits from mutual fund taxable?
All your profits under dividends would be net. So the company has already settled the tax. But your capital gain, your total net profit too, I would suggest pay zakat. But other than that, it's exempted.
Okay, let's just take a question from the guest. Okay, this question is from Anis Raihana Abdul Aziz. Okay, now the question is, at what percentage of profit would you recommend for the investor to withdraw the money and invest in a new portfolio? Here comes the question. Yeah.
At what percentage of profit would you recommend for the investor to withdraw the money and reinvest in new portfolio? My suggestion would be as long as it is more than your expected profit. So for example, when I get my clients to invest, when I get my corporate clients to invest, their benchmark will always be fixed deposit. So fixed deposit, sometimes they give like around 2% or 1.5%. When they have made 3%, they are happy. So what we can do is we can re-strategize. So if there are people who expect it to be more than other facilities that gives out maybe 5% or 6%, that's when you get to hit cakap dengan your client. Why don't we target it at 8%? So the 8% becomes a benchmark to when you get to re-strategize what you can do with your investment.
So it seems, it seems like, there is no textbook answer in a way.
Yeah.
Whenever you hit a very comfortable level or you hit a certain goal, you think you want to try something else, you can do so. Okay. Now, I'm not too sure if you have answered this.
Which one?
Can investing in mutual fund really make you a millionaire? I think a lot of audience wants to get more or less to the bottom of it. Or there is some conditions that you need to meet, where mutual fund is actually good enough to make you a millionaire.
You can be a millionaire, but it's not just through mutual funds. Because your returns are always against the capital you invest in. You can't be investing 100 ringgit and expecting you to get 1 million. My investment that I did 10 years ago, I made more than 125%. And that's the one I invest every single month. More than 125%, the one that I invested 10 years ago. So if you have dreams to become a millionaire, you need to remember that there is a tenure that you have to set for yourself, and the capital needs to be more and more and more. You cannot settle for one-time investment 200,000 expecting it to grow overnight and you become an instant millionaire. On top of that, being a millionaire sekarang ni mungkin probably like 10 years ago, being a millionaire macam okay lah, nice. Now being a millionaire is already considered macam middle level je, especially in KL. If anyone has seen the recent inflation rate of all the states in Malaysia, you would know staying in Malaysia as a millionaire is unfortunately not enough, especially in Kuala Lumpur, especially in JB, especially in Kota Kinabalu. So so you definitely can, but you got to remember that the amount needs to be substantial.
So let's clarify again. Investing in mutual fund It's not like you put 1,000 ringgit or 100 ringgit, suddenly you become millionaire. That is not, that is buying
Macam
the
tu I tak payah
lottery.
kerja lah.
Yeah,
Why
that
should
is,
I be working? I would be investing
yes,
every day.
yeah, that is equivalent to buying a lottery. So, like what Erin said, you want to be a millionaire by investing in mutual funds. It takes hard work, it takes discipline, and it takes consistency.
Yep.
So the most important thing here is cultivate, the investing mindset. So you must have more or less have the millionaire investing mindset before you can actually become a millionaire. Okay, so this one, we take another question. Okay, from the audience. This is from Dino Omar. Okay.
I like that question.
So here's the thing. Yes. Robo makes it super easy to invest because I can just set a daily transaction of, let's say, RM15 and can simply forget about it. And I also auto invest using e-spend roundups. Anything similarly easy for mutual funds. Yep.
Ada. Our standing instruction. Our
Oh.
standing instruction the facility is provided by MAPS, MEPS, the one where kita selalu cucuk duit tu. So we have standing instruction whereby if you were to invest first time and then you immediately set your standing instruction, you don't have to think about it after that. It will auto debit from your bank account.
And also maybe I would want to top up to that question in a way now, because robo advisors are very convenient. It comes in apps and all that. So, it gives you a platform for really beginners investors who know nothing, who just play around with it. You like the number, you put your money in, and they have that auto and auto deduct, very periodically help you invest. So to add on to that, for yourself, how do you see how do you see robo advisors against you guys?
Robo, that's definitely the future. But robo, I think it does not have face value. Does not have face value. It doesn't have the human touch.
Does have the personal touch.
Betul. Like in my case, I give you an example. In my case, whenever I purchase something, I like services. During the pandemic, there's a lot of things that can be done at home, but I miss getting service. So I feel like it also depends on people. Some people, they prefer to do things 100% robo or digital. And in my case, I'm the type of person who I would invest in service. I appreciate service. I like human touch. I like face value. And I've gone through doing things online with my clients during the pandemic, versus when I meet them, they are so much happy to put in 6-7 digits when they are in front of me compared to doing it online. Masuk online tu dia masuk 20-40 ribu je, but when it comes to meeting, suddenly boleh pula keluar 600,000, 500,000. So I feel like there's face value does bring a lot. I feel like human touch does bring a lot, but at the end of the day, it still differs from one person to another. I believe there are people who are like me, who values service, and that's exactly why we can still sustain lah as of now.
So in a way, for older generation like uncle would also like some personal touch.
Uncle confirm personal touch.
See you and all that, can get to see you or maybe your team. We have that personal touch. It's you feel more confident lah. Okay. So okay, we take one more question.
Before that, okay, Dino said, see, standing instructions cannot be done daily. Dino, when you do 15 ringgit per day, you can calculate, right, for 30 days or 31 days, how much you are investing daily. Standing instruction, you can do it once a year, once a month. So we don't do 15 ringgit. It's too cheap. That's why it's at a minimum of $100. So your transaction is once a month instead of on a daily basis. So it depends. Maybe Robo charges you per transaction every day, and you're paying per transaction also. So it differs. Like, it depends on what you want. Actually, it depends on what's your objective. But if there's another opportunity for you to make money elsewhere other than robo, do it. Like in my case, I invest in things that are outside my expertise as well, because at the end of the day, whatever that makes money for us, right? What matters most is you leverage. You leverage on what can work for you.
Okay.
Hmm.
Okay, let's just take one more question, okay?
Okay.
This question is very interesting. I have a small rental income from a house I bought. One day I drove my car to the hotel and I was immediately bankrupt. Why? Very
Again?
interesting. The
Again?
question, I have a small rental income from a house I bought. One day I drove my car to the hotel and I was immediately bankrupt. Why?
Is this a trick question?
Very interesting.
I don't see it in the chat. So I know it's
Mhm.
from Uncle
Yeah.
Robin.
So, why?
What do you think is the question? What do you think is the answer?
Do you know the answer? I
No,
have
wait.
rental income from a house I bought. One day I drove my car to the hotel and I was immediately bankrupt. Why?
Di main Monopoly ke tu?
You are correct. Yes, I was playing Monopoly. You are right. Okay. All right. Before we wrap up, so we have not much time left. Before we wrap up, could you probably summarize probably into 2 to 3 points, the benefits or maybe, the benefits or the attractiveness of actually investing in mutual funds?
Well, the beauty of investing in unit trust mutual funds is this is the start of things that you will learn as an investor. So if you want to start something new and simple, have an investment in unit trust in mutual funds, because it's affordable, it's for the masses, and it works. It works. In the US, mutual fund unit trust is already a common thing. It's something that worked for Donald Trump and his kids, for Paris Hilton and the Hilton family for many, many years. So in the US, mutual fund it's common. People queue at investment centers to invest in mutual funds, because that's an alternative for them to create a legacy for their children, for their grandchildren. And I'm gonna repeat this again. When I was in school, I had a lot of Chinese and Indian friends. And by the time we turn 18, all of them are well prepped, because all their parents prepared mutual funds for them since they were small. If it has been working for them for so many years, why are we not doing it? Why are we not utilizing it? If
Yeah.
you've got a lot of other investment vehicles, but you are not leveraging on something so simple like unit trust, you are missing out. It's just the same as there's like a convenience store that sells a lot of good things, but you choose not to go to because tak glamour, tak best. Padahal it's convenient. Why say no to something so convenient? If you
Yeah.
can do other investments, you should have investments in unit trust and mutual funds, because it's the simplest, it's the most affordable, it's the one that gives exposure to you. In a lot of other counters, we don't have two or three funds. We've got 130 plus funds. Why not, right?
Yeah. So, like what you mentioned, there are actually so many points you see. One, very manageable risk. You can actually diversify your portfolio. Two, very low entry means you don't need to invest a big amount at one go. You can start small but consistently put in. And the fourth one probably, it's a managed fund, means that the professionals are actually doing it for you. And five, it's steady, it's consistent, and is also regulated in Malaysia. So there are actually a lot of plus points in investing in mutual funds. So, okay, there you have it, guys. Thank you very much, Erin. So, if you guys want to make your money work hard for you, mutual fund is definitely a very attractive option for you guys, lah. But once again, we appreciate all of you, coming into this session, but we are not giving financial advice, okay? So please make your investment decisions with care, or if there's a need to, you can always contact Erin and her team,
Yep.
in regards to mutual fund investments. Okay. Once again, thank you, Erin. It has been a pleasure, talking to you here, and it has been a pleasure for all of you who are actually in with us tonight. Have a good evening and bye bye.
Thank you very much, Astro AWANI.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Uncle Robin. Thank you, Amy. Thank you to all our dear participants. Assalamualaikum. Good evening. Thank you.
Yes, thank you and bye bye.
Bye.